We got us two 12-inch fans right here from evilenergy. Here's the little kit that it comes with. Of course, you got your little thingamabobs there to mount it like this one was. Just, you know, shove these through the radiator. You got a fuse and a, what do you call that? Well, that's a bug right there. And then you got a relay here. That, you know, that's all your wire and stuff. And it's got a temperature sensor. I don't know what temperature it cuts on at, but if you wanted to just use this to control it, then you can. I'm not going to, because I bought a controller like on the Forte, the Ford, and Jolly Green. We'll wire that up after we get this done. And of course, it comes with a little mounting feet. They stick in there. And you got a little 30-amp breaker for it too. And then various little wiring up things and some screws and whatnot. Anyway, appreciate that evilenergy. Remember, we do have us a discount code. I'll put it up here on the screen. I'll put a link to evilenergy in the description below. Anyway, this is how I'm going to arrange these. It's the best way I can figure out to do it. Like I said, these are two 12-inch fans, 1800 CFM a piece. The one that was on it, I believe it's a 16-inch. It's only rated for 1400. I don't understand that, fellas. How can that big fan be rated for so much less than these little ones? But with both of these, hopefully, you know, we'll have enough CFM to keep this thing cool. What we got to do is make us a fan shroud to mount these two. That's why I've got these set up here about where they're going to go. I got to get some measurements, see how long this way and this way. And of course, we got to put a 90-degree bend on every corner. Get it mounted here somewhere. We'll figure that out here in a little bit. But let me get the metal cut and bent. Then we'll worry about mounting it. I got my measurements. It's 24 by 21 1/2. Let's do a little cutting. I know I want a 1-inch bend on all four sides, so I'll mark a 1-inch mark all the way around it. We will attempt to bend it. I really wish I had a bender. It would be nice. Now let's get her marked all the way across. It'll help us line it up a little bit better on our brake press. I'll show you the brake press here in a minute. Now we need to notch the corners out, you know, because we're bending it. I don't know if these 10 snips will cut this aluminum or not. We're fixing to find out though. Oh yeah, this ain't but like 60 thousandths aluminum. Probably should have used 1/8 inch, but or at least something like 90 thousandths somewhere in there. But I think this will be plenty heavy enough. All right, let me get it set up in the brake press and we'll bend her up. Well, there's my brake press. Yep. I really do wish I had a decent sized brake press, but I can't justify the cost because I don't bend enough material, you know, to be buying one. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. This piece of wood here is a hold down, you know, keep it from moving around. All I'm going to do is go to whooping on it a little at a time. Hopefully it's going to bend pretty straight. Let's go this way, see if that don't help, because I'm putting weird marks all over it. And there you have it, fellers. That's what you call a backyard butchery brake press. I'm doing the last side here, and you know, I can't do it like I did the others. So cut a piece of wood to fit inside here pretty tightly. That is our hold down and our die, if you will. We got to bend it up now instead of down because it's sitting there upside down. With our Tiz, what we gotta do next is cut some big old holes in it. But if I'd have had my thinking cap on, I'd have made this side and that side half inch, 3/4 inch longer, where it come on down and seal that crack a little bit more. I think we'll be just fine and dandly. Yeah, I ain't gonna worry about it. If that does become a problem, too much air coming out here, well, we might get us some foam or something to line it with, but it'll be all right. Next thing I gotta do, figure out my holes, the size of my holes. I wish they would send some kind of pattern with these, but anyway, I'll measure it and we'll have to find us something that size and mark it out, cut it, and make us some mount the fans, and that'll be that. Well, I got it laid out. There's my circle we're gonna cut that inside line. I got me a little apparatus here to hook my plasma cutter to, just like that right there. Whee! Get us a perfect circle. Let's cut her out. Well, I got the fans exactly where they're going to go now, and they got these little feet right here that you mount it with. Well, I can only do 3. It really needs 4 because there's not going to be anything out here in the center, and it's pretty thin. So I think what I might try to do is get me like a Phillips head, what do you call them, self-tapper, go down through here maybe. We'll see. But right now I'm going to drill some holes for some rib nuts, because look here what I bought me. Oh yeah, I got me a rib nut gun. So that's what we're going to use here. So let me get this out of the way. Let me drill these holes and we'll put some rib nuts in it. I'm not real sure what size to drill the hole. This measures like 350. I'm going to go one size up on the drill bit and let's see what that does. Let me clean that stuff off right there. Now, will it or won't it? I guess we're fixing to find out. Well, that felt pretty good. You got to turn this little feller here to unscrew it. Let's see what it looks like. We got a lot of room to play with because these little feet, they're pretty, yep. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Let me get the rest of these rib nuts in. Then I got to make some kind of way to mount it to the, what's that called? The radiator. Kaplow. Now what I got to do, we got to mount this because, well, you can see that center. Y'all probably can't from where you're at, but she's the moving. So let me see what kind of self-tappers I got. We might can drill down through there. But I don't think it's going to fit just a regular old Phillips headed screw. So let me drill a pilot hole through this plastic so we don't bust it. Maybe that'll work. Oh, look at there. Like it come from the factory. Ta-da! Well, that don't look too bad so far. Them little screws in the middle there, we ain't got no big gap opening up anymore. I'll tell you what I need to do, maybe on the back side, is get me some kind of a 90-degree piece of angle iron put in here, because that's flexing a little bit too much for my liking. We'll just see how it does. Anyway, what we got to do next is mount this to the radiator. The only thing I know to do is get me like a 1 inch or 1.5 inch strip, weld it to the radiator, bring it up here, and then self-tapper it to our fan shroud. Do that in 4 spots. It ain't gonna happen tonight though, fellas. My knees are killing me. Y'all ain't heard me talk about my knees in a pretty good while, yeah. You know, a few months back, I started taking that medicine twice a day. And my knees, I ain't gonna say they quit hurting, but yeah, they were a lot better. Ever since I got back from power tour, man, I'm telling you, they are, yeah. It's all I can do to get out of bed in the morning. And of course, you know, about 5-6 hours out here, and that's all I can handle. They just get to hurt me too bad. So I'm gonna go in the house tomorrow. Hopefully we can finish all this up, and we'll fire him up, and hopefully it'll be a hot day tomorrow, and set him outside there and let him idle and see what happens. Well, the art is in its final form, and I was wanting to weld these little tabs on. Well, I have lost the ability to TIG weld. I don't know what's going on. I tried it over here, and well, you can see it just burnt the aluminum away. I'm gonna have to do some practicing on that, because yeah, I don't like that. Anyway, I did the next best thing and used self-tappers. That's a mechanic's best friend. Actually, it's not self-tappers, it's these right here. They're kin to a self-tapper. But I had to grind part of that away because drilling right here on this bottom one, well, if I wouldn't have cut them down, I'd have hit that first tube. I'm not sure, this first one drilled, I'm not sure I didn't jam that drill bit into that first tube. We'll find out after a while when we put radiator fluid in it, but the art is it's ready to go in. We'll put it in a little bit, but I have piddled half the day out here today, just getting garbage out and bringing more garbage in. Still got a lot of garbage over in this area that needs to go to the garage, to the new racks I put up. I'll get it sometime. Got a big pile of parts here. We have accumulated. We may have a motor build coming. You just have to wait and see. Speaking of motors, we got 2 LS motors sitting right here. Sure do. Y'all have heard me mention the fellers at Hoopties and Hot Rods. They're just right down the road, maybe 5 miles. Well, they called me up and said, you want 2 motors? I said, absolutely. And here they are. They are 4.8s. Now, before you go to saying, oh, that's a little tiny motor, let me tell you, these motors here, you put a turbo on them, oh yeah, you can get 700-800,000 horsepower out of these little fellers pretty easily. Yep. We are fixing to get into some LS building, and here's why. It's cheap horsepower, fellas. The heads are awesome on them. The cranks, the bottom end, they can handle 700-800 horsepower easily all day long. Now the rods, from what I understand, are a little iffy, but they're just cheaper to build. If you try to get 700-800 horsepower out of regular old small block Chevy lathe, you're gonna spend some money on the bottom end. Absolutely. They're just really tough motors. So we are fixing to jump on the LS bandwagon here for too long. Right now, though, let's jump on the dude bandwagon. Get that radiator in. I got to hook up my fan controller. And, well, it may be dark by the time I get done. Like I said, I piddled half the day. It actually looks like it may start raining. Anyway, if it don't rain, we'll back him out and see how he does. Well, I think I'm fixing to change the name of the channel to The Dumas Hour. Yes, there seems to be a whole lot of that going around here lately. This ain't gonna work. Nope. Here's my hood latch assembly thing on my bob. It's hitting right here. Then you got this here piece that actually goes up under that piece right there. It's hitting, yeah. And I want to run this, and I don't want to cut that. I don't want to cut this, so yep. I've wasted several hours building this little fan shroud. Let me pull it out. It's possible that we could drop the whole fan shroud down. We gotta do some little metal working down here. By metal working, I mean get a big old hammer, beat the devil out of it, and get it out of the way. Let me pull it out and see what I can figure out. Well, here's what I'm thinking. From my measurements, I need to drop this down about 1 3/4 inches. Well, that's about what we got. If I drop it all the way down to the bottom of the radiator, that's almost 2 inches, really. Yeah. Let me unscrew it, drop it down here. We'll have to cut us a hole out for our little petcock here. Yeah, let's see if that'll work. All right. Will it or won't it scoop down here enough to make this work without me having to make a whole new fan shroud? Let me put a screw in it and then keep it from, flopping all over the place, and we'll put it in there and just see what it looks like. Beat the devil out of it, man. Beat the devil out of it. Let me go ahead and bend this out of the way because I know I got to. Let's see what that'll do. Will she or won't she this time around? No, because my fan is hitting this piece here now. Which I can cut that. I don't mind cutting that bottom piece. I just want to cut this because it would look like garbage. It's got to go down quite a bit. Let me pull it back out, see what I can do. Will it or won't it? By George, it will. We got about a 1/4 inch to spare. Let me make sure this little fella here goes on there. Firstly, we might have to leave this bolt out. No, I don't think it'll hit. I do believe we got it up here. Down there, it's still hitting. It's got the bottom of the radiator kicked out. So let me work on that a minute, and I think we'll have it. Oh, yeah. Come on, man, get out of there. Ta-da! Let's deburr some of these sharp edges. Well, maybe that'll only cut me to my bone instead of cutting the bone in two also. Let's see if it'll fit. 47th time is the charm. By George, I think we got it. Let me bolt her up real quick. Well, we are still hitting just a wee bit. I didn't realize this, but it's got a rib nut in it, sort of. Well, it's a captured nut, I think, square nut. It's still barely hitting our fan housing. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut this little fella off right here. And I ain't going to worry about it. Yep. Let me do that. And I got to mount my fan controller and get it wired up. And then, well, it's, as you can see, it's dark out. So they may wrap it up for the day, and then tomorrow, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, we can get this thing finished up, rolled outside, and see what it does. Well, I just got done mounting the controller and getting it all wired up. I ain't got all the wires cleaned up yet. I have tested it. I held my lighter to my little, whatever it's called, that picks up the temperature. Everything works greatly. But let me show you this. This is very interesting, something I just discovered. Watch when I turn the key on. You see my light come on my boost gauge, the, what's it called? Gas gauge come up, the volt gauge come up. Now watch, I'm gonna move this key a little bit. Y'all see that right there? Y'all see that right there? If I get it just right, it'll stay off. There it is right there. It's very quite possible that that is that cutout. Remember, it would just completely shut off. RPMs will drop and it'd come back up. Yeah, that very well could be what's going on. This will be the second ignition switch I put on this thing in a couple of years. I guess they're all garbage just like everything else you buy. Well, that's just what you have to deal with. Anyway, I'm going in the house. My knees are hurting. But tomorrow I will clean this up, put the stuff back on, put the radiator fluid in it, and we'll check her out, see how she does. Well, I got everything buttoned up and hooked up. Got her out here running full of radiator fluid. I'm just waiting for the fan to kick on. The first one just did. I got it set on 130 degrees because them temperature controllers ain't all that accurate. Let's see where we're at. It has not moved off the peg, so let's back that off just a little bit because there ain't no needing them running, you know, when they don't have to. Let's run it up to about 150. 155, that sounds good. Let's see what that does. Put the hood lights back on, shut the hood. You know, it always runs a little warmer with the hood closed. Also, by the way, I did put a 160 thermostat in it. I looked back on old videos last night. Yeah, it's 160. Anyway, it's been sitting here idling 15, 20 minutes. Let's see what our temperature is. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? Oh, yeah. Look like it's sitting on about 180-ish. Not bad, fellas. Normally it'd be 215, 220 by now. Let's hit the pedal and see if it's going to act a fool or is it going to act right. Well, there's still a little bit of iffiness going on there. Nothing like it was. You know, before it would just almost die, or it would die. Wouldn't run hardly. Well, this is mucho better than it was. I'll tell you what. Let's take her down the road through town. Stoplight, stoplight. Let's just see what it does. Well, here's the deal, fellers. You know, we were gonna take a stroll through town. Well, I decided to load trash up and go to the dumpster first. And well, she's sitting on, I'll show you right here, she's sitting on 220-ish, headed to 230. And this is whilst I was going down the road. I was kind of afraid that might be an issue. I've blocked too much of the radiator off to cool it whilst going down the road. I'm gonna let it sit here and idle for a few minutes and see if it'll cool back down. If it does, then, well, that's the issue. We're gonna have to do something about that. Well, it's been sitting there less than 5 minutes. Y'all look at here, we're already down to 190-ish, just a little above 190. So yeah, that's the issue. Let me turn the thing off. Let's go in the shop where it's cool and we'll discuss what we're going to do about it. What are we going to do about dude's cooling issues? New cooling issue, one that I have created. You know, we fixed one, well then I created another. Well, I have seen some store-bought fan shrouds. They'll have louvers, like, you know, if it's a front mount, a pusher style, they'll have louvers where air can flow through them. We can do that. I just cut out a big square. I don't know. If I can find a die, you know, I got a press right there. If I can find a louver die of some type, we might do that. If it was a puller fan with the fan shroud on the back side of the radiator, I've seen them like stock, well, even aftermarket ones. They'll have like a rubber flap that'll open up when you're going down the road to let extra air flow through. Can't really do that type on the front. Well, I guess you could, but it won't, well, it'll be pulled open all the time, you know, from the fan. I don't know, fellers. I'll figure something out, but it ain't going to be this week. No, sir. This video is already too long, so we'll fix that next week. Plus, we still got some work to do on some of the other vehicles, so be looking for that. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.